Breakups are often the symptom of problems in a relationship. My workbook series, The Knowledge, is focused on helping you change your life in 4 key areas: retaining the information that I teach, personal growth, improving your relationships, and of course, re-attracting your ex. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about from broken up to chasing you. Well, if you had somebody break up with you, the thing that you probably want most is to have that person call you up, tell you they regret their decision and that they miss you, that they love you and they care about you and they want to work things out. What happens to us very often is that when somebody ends our romantic relationship, we panic. And then we start to do all kinds of behaviors that really turn them off and makes the situation go from bad to worse. Sometimes you guys come across my channel right after a breakup and you're able to turn things around easier. Sometimes you've made a slew of mistakes and it's more challenging to turn things around because you may have done and said a lot of mean or hurtful things or just done a lot of things that really turn somebody off. So it's important to understand that your behavior is going to directly impact your ex's attraction level to you. The things that you say or don't say and the things that you do or don't do are going to really impact how they feel about the situation. Many times somebody has made the decision to end the relationship and they're fairly confident it was the right decision. But if you handle it in a way that they start to think about things and start to miss you, it's going to be a lot more likely that they do want to turn things around and do want to give you another chance. But you have to have discipline. And the discipline is in both figuring out the things that went wrong and also maintaining emotional self-control so your anxiety doesn't cause you to make a lot of mistakes. And that's what happens to so many of you guys out there. And I know because I've talked about this over and over again, me making a lot of personal mistakes and seeing what doesn't work and what does work. So when somebody ends a relationship with you, I truly believe that the best way to handle this, if you want to work things out with them, is to respect their decision and leave them alone. Now, some people call this no contact. I prefer to call it no reaching out, because no contact is a term that's just become extremely confusing with a lot of different interpretations upon it. However, looking at the root of our behaviors and why human beings do what we do, I believe that you simply want to allow that person to have the space to think about things and show them that you are doing okay and you're going to respect what they say. I understand how incredibly difficult it can be to do this because I've had to do it and it took me a long time to become more securely attached and become less anxious and more able to manage my anxiety. But through all the work that I've done, I've been able to do that and become a much more confident person over the years. And that's what I try and teach you guys, is learning about attachment and attachment trauma and how your attachment to your caregivers is directly correlated and tied to your relationship with your romantic partners. And very few people have a good understanding of this. But the more secure you felt in the bond with your caregivers, the easier a breakup tends to be, because you feel like your needs are going to get met and you're going to be okay. However, if you grew up in a home where you didn't get a lot of love or attention or affection, maybe your parents worked all the time, maybe they didn't allow you to express your feelings, maybe they kept shutting you down when you would want to get close to them. It's going to cause you to become insecure, insecurely attached. And in your romantic relationships, you're going to feel insecure. You're going to feel like that person is always going to abandon you and leave you, or you can't trust them, you can't feel safe with them. It's going to impact all of the things that you say and all of the things that you do with your romantic partners. So, you got to understand that attachment is incredibly powerful. Love is incredibly powerful. And while you may be terrified that somebody can walk away, that's likely because in your early childhood, you were constantly terrified you were going to be abandoned by your caregivers. So when you allow somebody to miss you and you allow somebody the space to think about you and start to feel like they're going to lose you, their anxiety is going to get set off and they're going to start to think about you more and start to really regret their decision. They're going to stop being so entrenched in their decision because they start to realize that they love you and then that they miss you, and they can't shut those feelings off. Now, I know that they're going to act like those feelings are gone and they're never coming back. And they may even tell you, I'm never going to call you again. I'm never going to talk to you again. I'm never going to date you again, is really the big thing that they'll tell you. No, I'm never going to give you another chance. Well, just because somebody feels one way in one moment of time, it doesn't mean it's going to stay that way forever. It's just the way we operate. We oftentimes say something and we think that we're going to mean it forever, but then it doesn't last and our feelings change. You know, think about it. A lot of times we do something, we expect it to go one certain way. Maybe you decide, I'm going to enroll in college, and you expect it to be a certain way. But then when it actually happens, it's nothing like what you expected. Maybe you even regret going to that college and think, I should have went to the other one that was on the top of my list, or, you know, my other choice that I really felt good about. But it's going to happen. People oftentimes make a decision, and then after they've made it, they change their mind. So even when it looks like they're completely done with you, they're cold, they don't want to talk to you, they don't want to see you, they act like they've never even loved you, because I've been in that situation where the person just completely went from this wonderful, loving woman to just cold as ice, and just I couldn't believe who this person was. I just didn't know them anymore. Well, it's because she was putting up a wall and she didn't want me to cross it. And had I understood all the things I do now, I would have handled those breakups so much more differently than I have in the past. And even if they start to date somebody new, and that new relationship looks like it's going great and amazing, it doesn't mean it's going to last. Oftentimes, when they leave you for somebody else, it's a fantasy and it's not going to last. But reality will come in time, but not right away, because they need to see for themselves that this new person isn't as great as you, and that you were really their best option. But you have to show them that you will be their best option, and that you can be their best option, and that's going to depend directly on your behavior after a breakup. So, even though your instinct is going to say to you, call them, text them, call their friends, stop by their job, drive past their house, all of those things, do a handwritten letter, do the grand gesture, all of those things just make them feel more trapped and more frustrated and angry with you, and want to put up an even higher wall and be more forceful with their decision. You don't want to push that because you don't want to get them to become more forceful with you and, you know, meaner or more hurtful to get you to leave them alone. I know it's difficult to do, but believe me, I deal with breakups every day with people around the world. I know what works. So during this period where you're not reaching out to them, you really have to focus on what you did wrong, what was going wrong in the relationship, what you can do to improve yourself and how you can change to be a better partner. Now, I'm not saying all the blame is on you, because it certainly wasn't. You both created that relationship. But the only thing you can focus on is yourself and how to better yourself. And even if they don't ever come back and you don't ever get another opportunity, the changes you make are going to help you with all your relationships for the rest of your life. So personal growth is the best investment you could possibly do. And the guy in today's video did an amazing job of personal growth and an awesome success story that I'm so excited to share with you guys today. This one was great and I loved hearing it. They said, "Hey coach, it worked. I owe it all to you. Watching all of your videos and doing the workbooks helped me get my ex to come crawling back to me, professing her love for me, and breaking up with her new guy in the process." I'm going to read this again because it's so awesome. "Watching all your videos and doing the workbooks helped me to get my ex come crawling back to me, professing her love for me, and breaking up with her new guy in the process." That is outstanding. Let's see what happened. He said, "I accidentally ran into her on the way home from class a couple of weeks ago. The way I carried myself because of the knowledge I had learned made it so I wasn't overly clingy or excessively excited to see her, and it got me past the points of jealousy when she was telling me about the guy she had been dating for a few weeks at that point." So you could imagine how difficult it would be to have composure when your ex is sitting there telling you that they're dating somebody new. And years ago, before I learned all the stuff that I have figured out, I would have been devastated. I mean, that would have been the worst pain in the planet, is hearing that my ex is dating somebody new. And I would have made every single mistake in the book. Maybe not the handwritten letter. I wasn't that gullible. But just about every single mistake in the book. He goes on to say, "My conversation with her and how I made her feel reminded her of how much better I am than her new guy. Something that she had refused to believe until that point. But it was by taking your advice and putting in the work through the help of the workbooks that I was able to do that. She gave it a few weeks, but the changes she saw in me made her not be able to stop thinking about me and missing me and realizing how much better than her new guy I am." This is an incredible email. Absolutely incredible. Everything that he said, you guys, is just awesome, right? We don't want to jump into anything right now, so we're taking it slowly and seeing what happens. But she left her new guy to come back to me because of the changes you helped me make. This is awesome. I'm so pumped for this guy. "I have no intention of stopping watching the videos and doing future workbooks to become the absolute best partner and version of myself that I can be. Quick question. How open should I be about watching the videos and putting in the work? If she finds out who specifically I've been watching," meaning me, "and looks into it, she'll see the videos are based around getting an ex back." That's a good point, and I got a good answer for this. "This would obviously make her skeptical or mad at me. It would make her think I was making the changes to trick her into coming back instead of trying to improve myself and being the best I can, which just so happened to attract her back. So if it somehow gets on the topic of my changes, what should I tell her and how much information should I give? Thanks for everything." Okay, that was a great success story, and he had a great question at the end, and I'm glad he asked this. First of all, let's say this. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter why you've changed to a woman. She's just happy that you have changed. And I think with romance, there's an element of fantasy. And so it's better to say less than more. Let that woman just appreciate who you are, not necessarily how you got there. If for some reason she starts to push or finds out about the videos of the workbooks, all you have to tell her is that you were working on personal growth and you came across the channel. That's it. I was working on myself, went on YouTube, found some videos, came across this guy, came across this particular video. Maybe you show her a communication video or how to be your Superman, how to be the mountain, something like that. And I just realized I needed to make a lot of changes and just improve who I was and be the best version of me that I could be. And just let her have that romance and element of, hey, this guy is the guy I was looking for to begin with. I can't believe I almost let you go. Because if you behave in a way that displays confidence and make all these changes that I'm constantly educating you guys about, it's going to pay off. And even if for some reason it doesn't pay off and you don't get another opportunity with your ex, it's going to help you with all your dating and romantic relationships because they apply to all people. The behavior that I teach really applies to everybody. And you guys know that when I teach about attachment styles, communication, behavior to be a better partner, behavior to become more emotionally disciplined and have better self-control over yourself, it's going to attract anybody of the opposite sex, not just your ex. So stay focused and focus on who you want to become. One of my favorite things about a breakup is what it causes us to do internally. There's something about them that cause the person that's broken up with to get a level of motivation that you may never experience in your life. Every area of your life you will look at improving. And while some of that may be just to get validation from your ex and another shot with them, when you get to the healthiest mindset, it becomes about you and making yourself the priority, and your ex just becomes an afterthought. And that's, of course, ideally where I want you guys to get and hope that you guys can get. So stay focused on becoming the best version of yourself. Work on your emotional, mental health and your ability to communicate, to be the best partner you can be, and somebody will absolutely love who they get. And I have no doubt you'll get a success story for yourself. So when you want to get my help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net, sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Margaret is also available for Skype coaching. She's got over 35 years experience and she's incredible. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. That way you're notified for when my newest videos come out, and put a like on the video. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon. I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different, and every breakup is different. Work with me, and you'll get professional help on your situation. Just click on the link in the description below, or go to my website, askcraig.net.